The Life of Feitan Portor, Hunter x Hunter. Feitan Portor is member number 2 of the Phantom Troupe, an infamous gang of thieves with Class A bounties. His physical strength ranks 5th in the group. After defeating Zazan, Feitan became the de facto leader of the Phantom Troupe until Chrollo's return. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the life of Feitan Portor. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Background. Feitan is one of the original members of the Phantom Troupe, along with Franklin, Machi, Pakunoda, Chrollo Lucifer, Nobunaga Hazama, and Uvogin, who originated from Meteor City, a junkyard city inhabited by outcasts who are not considered to be part of society. People who live there don't exist in any official records, and the existence of the city itself is known to very few people. Later, the troupe was joined by more members, in accordance with Chrollo's idea of a group comprising of exactly 13 members, including himself. At some point in the past, he nearly killed Shizuku and other Phantom Troupe members when he released Painpacker while they were watching. Yorknew City Arc. On August 31st, Feitan appears on the outskirts of Yorknew City with Machi, Franklin, and Nobunaga. He answers the latter's question, replying that the last time the whole Phantom Troupe gathered, he had been 3 years and 2 months before, adding that numbers 4 and 8 have changed since. He claims to dislike Hisoka and the freedom Chrollo grants him, which Nobunaga attributes to his strength. Feitan orders him to apologize for implying their leader is afraid of Hisoka. Feitan and Machi rapidly move out of the way when Nobunaga and Franklin engage in a skirmish. Machi wonders what their objective is, and Feitan speculates they're going to steal the world's most dangerous and most expensive game. After they're gathered at the hideout, Chrollo reveals they'll steal all of the items in the underground auction. The following evening, he roams the streets of the city with Franklin and Shizuku. He chides her for being too weak after she loses to Gon in arm wrestling, and asks her why she didn't use her strong arm, the left. When she insists on trying again, he remarks that they don't have the time. Later on, he disguises himself as the auctioneer of the underground auction and infiltrates the building. He takes center stage, Franklin following him closely, and announces all the people gathered will die that night. At that moment, Franklin begins to mow down the crowd with double machine gun. When it's done, Feitan laments not having to do anything. Shizuku cleans up the scene, and Feitan notices one of the mobsters survived. He threatens to kill their families, but Franklin shoots him while Feitan mockingly asks him what a family is. The spiders find out that the auction items are already gone. Feitan tortures the auctioneer for information until he dies, the only piece of useful information he manages to extract being that one of the shadow beasts, Owl, entered the vault when it was full, and when he walked out, it was empty. Reuniting with Nobunaga, Uvogin, Machi, and Shellnark, they flee the building in a hot air balloon. Chrollo instructs them to cause a big commotion to draw out the shadow beasts. Upon seeing the army of mobsters waiting for them, Feitan tells Shizuku she doesn't have to clean up afterward. Uvogin takes them on by himself, while the other spiders comment on the disparity in power. After a while, Feitan warns the others that 4 shadow beasts have arrived. He's surprised that Porcupine and Rabbit Dog managed to injure Uvogin, but he covers his ears in time to avoid being deafened when the latter kills Porcupine with a shout. Chains suddenly envelop a paralyzed Uvogin, who's snatched away. Feitan, Shellnark, Machi, Shizuku, and Nobunaga steal a car and chase the abductors. They come within sight of their vehicle, but Owl drops on their hood and shrinks their car with Fun Cloth. The spiders manage to avoid the attack, except for Nobunaga, which Feitan attributes to his bad position. 5 more shadow beasts show up, which leads to Feitan and Shizuku to realize whoever captured Uvogin is not one of them. Stating they only need to ask them, Feitan readies for combat. The spiders kill the shadow beasts and learn that Uvogin was taken by the Nostrad family. While the others go rescue him, Feitan returns to the hideout with Owl. He tortures him and successfully obtains the location of the items from the auction. Later that night, Feitan reads a book at the light of a few candles. Shellnark asks him if Uvogin has returned, which Feitan denies. He tries to ease Shellnark's concern by telling him Uvogin doesn't go down easily. On September 3rd, Feitan's in the hideout when Nobunaga, Machi, Finks, and Pakunoda return with Gon and Killua as prisoners. He realizes Gon as the kid Shizuku arm wrestled earlier. He warns Franklin that trying to make her remember something she's forgotten is pointless. When, after losing many matches, Gon furiously turns the tables on Nobunaga, Feitan restrains him. He asks if he knows the Chain Dude, and when Gon refuses to reply, prepares to torture him. He's stopped by Nobunaga. The two argue for a few moments and activate the Ren. Seeing that they're about to fight, the other spiders forbid them from doing so. They flip a coin to settle the dispute. Losing the toss, Feitan resentfully lets go of Gon. He teases him and Killua when the spiders are in favor of letting them go. When Nobunaga insists on them staying so Gon can join the Phantom Troupe, Feitan objects that Chrollo would never accept. With the other spiders, except for Chrollo and Nobunaga, he then attends a meeting where Shalnark presents their new course of action. Feitan is paired up with Finks for the attack on the cemetery building, where the Mafia has gathered for the underground auction, and they kill some mobsters on the way to the building. Feitan is perplexed by Chrollo's unusual order to make a big show of their attack. They approach a group of armed Mafia members. Feitan is recognized by one of them, but before they can open fire, the two spiders slaughter them. They continue their massacre until the 10 Dons, who in reality have been killed and manipulated by Illumi Zoldyck, communicate that the spiders have been killed and start the auction. Feitan assists Kortopi backstage by looking for the items called out by the auctioneer. Feitan and other spiders fake their deaths through gallery fake. They then carry their loot to the hideout and celebrate the success of their heist. After Nobunaga challenges Chrollo's decision to leave the city on September 4th, the leader writes down his and Shizuku's prophecies with lovely ghostwriter, which leads him and Feitan to realize the Chain Dude is a survivor of the Kurta clan. Chrollo offers to formulate everyone's fortunes, but Feitan states he doesn't know his date of birth. He then reads Hisoka's prediction, which the latter has secretly altered with texture surprise in order to trick the spiders into staying in Yorknew City. Chrollo forms 4 teams of 3, putting Feitan, Finks, and Kortopi together due to none of them having had their future read for lack of data. He then replaces Kortopi with Shalnark to go after the copy of the Scarlet Eyes, which he reckons are in the possession of the Nostrad family. Feitan's group remains in the hideout with Hisoka, Franklin, and Bonolanov while the others head to Hotel Baitical. After Chrollo is abducted by Kurapika, Feitan, Finks, and Shalnark reach the others in the lobby of the hotel. Feitan confronts Nobunaga about what he perceives as inaction until Nobunaga explains why he didn't pursue Kurapika. He then tries to eavesdrop when Kurapika contacts them and demands to speak to Pakunoda, who chases him away. She's ordered to go to Lingen Airport alone while the other spiders are to return to their hideout. Finks and Feitan, however, intend to go after her, against Nobunaga's wishes. Feitan tells him that his way of thinking is an insult to Chrollo and the spiders, as the group takes priority over the person of the leader. The spiders are split into 2 groups, and the heat rises to the point where Nobunaga is ready to fight for the sake of Pakunoda and Chrollo. Shizuku diffuses the situation by knocking him out. Kurapika calls them again to let them know that he has a way of knowing where they are, and repeats his order, which the spiders obey this time. Feitan and the others go back to the headquarters, taking the captured Gon and Killua with them. When Pakunoda returns and insists on bringing Gon and Killua with her to exchange hostages with Kurapika, Finks and Feitan prepare to fight her, Machi, and Kortopi, whom Feitan believes to be manipulated by the Chain Dude. When Gon breaks free from his restraint in a fit of anger, Feitan prepares to confront him, but is stopped by Finks. Franklin speaks up and convinces the majority of the spiders to go along with Kurapika's requests for the time being, as continued bickering will eventually result in members falling apart, which is the worst thing that could happen to the Phantom Troupe. Pakunoda returns from the meeting without Chrollo, and with a revolver in her hand. Feitan and Finks get ready to fight, but Nobunaga convinces them to trust her. Together with 5 other members, Feitan lets himself be shot by Memory Bomb, learning about Kurapika and everything that's transpired. On September 6th, while the other spiders prepare to return to Meteor City, Finks and Feitan dress up and steal a catalog to attend the Southern Peace auction, reckoning that Chrollo is probably looking for an exorcist. They run into Gon and Killua, who attempt to escape, unsuccessfully. Feitan states they don't want to kill them. He glances at Finks when the latter seems about to reveal the judgment chain around Chrollo's heart can be removed. Greed Island Arc. Feitan and Finks have their sights set on Greed Island. They learn that Batara has purchased many copies and intends to do tryouts to select players. Staying true to their convictions, the two kill the men transporting one of the consoles with the game and steal it. Back at their headquarters, Feitan assembles the game and, performing Hatsu on the console, enters the game first. After wandering around, Feitan and Finks kill a Greed Island player. Feitan agrees to a contest between him and Finks on who can kill the most players, warning Finks to take their cards first. The bombers take notice of their uncommon belligerence. Feitan and Finks briefly leave the game at Shalnark's request, who understood the game is located in the real world, before the 3 return by boat with Shizuku, Kortopi, and Franklin. They're detected by Eta, who sends Razor to intercept them. As soon as they swim ashore, they're confronted by the Game Master. They accept to be sent off the island and return the conventional way. Shalnark eventually figures out that Chrollo must have reached Greed Island while traveling east, as recommended by his prophecy, and that there must be an exorcist on the island. The spiders assemble on the island and find Abengane through Kaluto Zoldyck's ability. They send Hisoka to make a deal with him. Feitan glares at the magician when he talks about fighting Chrollo. Chimera Ant Arc. Feitan thinks Shizuku, Kaluto, Bonolanev, and Shalnark travel to Meteor City to exterminate the Chimera Ants who have taken residence there, led by Zazan. They're shown corpses in the process of turning into hybrids and resolve to take matters into their own hands. They agree to charge into the palace through the main entrance. Upon finding the entrance empty, the spiders split up and have a race to see who can kill the self-proclaimed first, the reward being an interim position as leader of the Phantom Troupe. Feitan runs into Zazan and, after confirming she's the queen, proclaims his disappointment. He pulls out his umbrella and opens it to divert her attention and slash at her with his concealed sword from the side, but she manages to dodge, earning his praise. Noticing her stinger, he states it's common sense to hide weapons under loose clothes. The two begin to fight and Feitan is temporarily outmatched, which he openly acknowledges. He claims his skills have grown rusty and rejoices that she makes good practice. He retrieves the cover of his umbrella and creates a series of after images to blindside her. She manages to block his attack from behind at the last second, noticing he keeps getting quicker. Smiling, Feitan presses a button on the handle of the umbrella, firing its tip on Zazan's face. However, the bullet only scratches her, causing Feitan to remark she has thick skin. Furious, Zazan tears off her stinger and turns into a monster. While she transforms, Feitan exploits the opening to jump on her back and use a co-powered stab with his sword. However, her body has become so durable that the sword snaps. Before he can rescind sets, she hurls an aura projectile at him, shredding his top and breaking some of his ribs. Feitan fends off her attacks until he's disarmed and she breaks his left arm. Feitan snaps and begins to speak in his mother tongue while activating Pain Packer. He incinerates her with Rising Sun, taunting her as she dies and cackling savagely. When the fire burns out, he comments that it was quite weak and that she would have died a more comfortable death had she hurt him more. After winning, he prepares to leave the nest with the other spiders, but they run into Meteor City denizens turned into hybrids by Zazan. They honor their death wish by killing them in combat. He and Shalnark later tease Finks for sounding like a girl in love while talking about Chrollo, which causes the two to be chased around by him. Succession Contest Arc. Following Chrollo's return, Feitan seems to have abandoned his position as interim leader of the Phantom Troupe. He appears on the Black Whale with Finks, Franklin, and Nobunaga. He, along with the others, thrash 3 passengers who refuse to let them pass without paying a fee. The Phantom Troupe later gathers in Tier 5's dining hall and hear the reports concerning Hisoka's whereabouts. Since their search throughout Tier 5 comes to naught, they conclude that he might be at the upper levels. After being confronted by members of the Sha'ar family, the troop moves out and Chrollo orders them to bring Hisoka's head to him. Feitan, along with the other spiders, scatter. Finks and Feitan tag along with Nobunaga. They decide to leave Tier 5 to the Buar family and search for Hisoka in Tier 4 after retrieving some items from the warehouse. When Nobunaga insists on going by himself, Feitan notes he's expressed concern over Hisoka's bungee gum in the past and adds that killing him is more important than who does it. The 3 encounter some henchmen of the Chara family, one of whom leads them through the warehouse. As he turns the corner, Nobunaga stops Finks and Feitan, stating the guy vanished from his inn. Feitan prepares for battle. They walk down the corridor, which turns out to be a dead end. Then they hear a thud from behind them. They find the guide with his throat cut open. Finks and Feitan nonchalantly keep searching for items on their own, ridiculing Nobunaga's concern and telling him he has muddled priorities. The 3 return to the entrance where the mobsters have disappeared. They notice a trail of blood, which Feitan estimates have been left around the same time as the previous murder. Nobunaga hypothesizes that the culprit ran into them by chance and decided to use them, but switched back to their original plan when a fight didn't break out, causing Feitan to remark it was a shoddy ploy. They begin to follow the trail, convening that Hisoka is not involved, which Feitan supports by remarking that the neck of the mafioso had been cut without skill. The spiders reach a locked door. Moments later, Kenny Wang appears behind them with 4 armed subordinates. He inquires if they're the ones who killed the men in the warehouse. He believes their innocence after receiving a call from his subordinates. He recounts that a man entered the hideout with a wounded warehouse guard and then disappeared. He then proposes to form an alliance. The spiders follow Kenny into the warehouse, where he shows them footage of the intruder. They're introduced to Sudonke and added to the surveillance rotation. Feitan is stationed at the entrance of the warehouse. On Saturday night, Vice Boss Tajao comes out of the locked door in the hideout, confirming to the spiders that it's a secret passage to the upper tiers of the ship. Feitan remains silent throughout the meeting, but he has a reaction when Tajao announces the actions of Moreno Prudo might lead to an all-out war on the ship that not even the spiders can avoid, and which would run counter to their interests. Personality. Feitan is the Phantom Troupe's interrogator, being very proficient in the art of torture. His speech usually consists of few words and poor grammar. When angered, He speaks a language of unknown origin, different from the common language of the world. He's cold-natured but very loyal to Chrollo and the Phantom Troupe as a whole. He's implied to be deeply involved with all Phantom Troupe activities, remembering exact details of how long it's been since the last time all the members have gathered together, what's changed since then and who the new members are, or when Chrollo gave him instructions. Feitan occasionally clashes with the other members, but he seems to get along well with them. He's particularly close to Finks, with whom he partners during missions and competes to see who can get more kills. Some subtle moments also suggest that Feitan has a good friendship with Shalnark. He once assured Shalnark that Uvagen would not be killed easily, and the two toasted each other while the troops celebrated their success after the second auction. He also seems to trust Shalnark's judgment, as he's conceded on letting Gon and Killua go home after they were first captured by the Phantom Troupe, but only after Shalnark determined that it would be fine to do so. Feitan also displays a humorous side, shown when he and Shalnark tease Finks after their respective battles against the Chimera Ants, with Feitan wearing a goofy expression on his face the whole time. As the troop's interrogator, Feitan once remarked that he felt most sorry for his victim, indicating that he showed some signs of sympathy. However, he's nonetheless a sadist who enjoys inflicting pain. He once planned to break Gon's fingers and then rip off his nails. Another instance of Feitan's sadism is the maniacal laughter and mocking directed at Zazan while the latter was agonizing. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.